everyone, and welcome to the next episode of What's Your Mess? Mental, Emotional, Social Status of Life. I am your host, Tracey D. Armstrong, and today we will take another journey into the life of another special guest who's going to share their experiences and things that have occurred throughout their life that shaped them into who they are today. So just remember, this podcast is not just about stories that are being told, but it's about the triumph, the resilience, the strength that these guests have had in order to overcome or to come out of their mess. So, without further ado, let me get out the way and I'm going to have my guest introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cedric Towner. Thank you, Ms. Armstrong, for having me. I currently am the owner of Youth Development Project. It's an agency that I started actually in St. Louis, Missouri, but I actually started working and getting contracts in Indianapolis, Indiana. That agency right now, we currently provide various of services where we do community-based work. We're actually a nonprofit organization as well. So we do mentoring, we offer tutoring, we offer home-based casework, we offer homemaker parent aid, we offer supervised visits, father engagement, and we do life skills, parenting, and independent life skills. So we do a various of things for our referral basis, basically from the state. When we get requests for proposals and we get contracts with the state, and they'll send us these clients to go out and help them overcome obstacles and adversities that they're dealing with in life to help them get back on track. We help young men and young ladies get off probation, find jobs, housing, budgeting, and just a lot of different things, food pantries, Thanksgiving giveaways, Christmas giveaways, things like that. So, and then my other agency is I'm a motivational speaker as well, Cedric the Motivator. So I do a lot of different things that I'm just trying to tap into. As long as I'm paying it forward and helping somebody else, that's a success for me.
Wow, that is amazing. Like, first of all, let me go. You said Cedric the Motivator. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then
Thank
all
you.
of the things that you do for the community and the outreach, that is awesome because that is most definitely needed in the world. Like, people need, I was taking notes on some of the things you said, like helping people once they get out of probation. Like, that's a big one. Like, when people come out, knowing where to go or knowing what to do and the next step and helping them get jobs and things like that. That is
Yes,
so awesome. Like, thank you for that outreach, first of all. Let me say that.
no
But
problem. Thank you.
I know that that hasn't always been the situation. I know that's not where you've always been. You haven't always been at this level to where you can help like you're
Correct.
helping now. So, can you tell everybody a little bit about your mess and your situation that you've gone through?
Well, this is all, what I do now for a living. And first and foremost, there's a difference for what I do for my career, because this is a career. This is my passion. And so it's a difference between a job and a career. So this is what I've made my call in my career. But where it stems from is just me growing up in similar situations. I am a foster child. I'm legally adopted. I've never met my biological father, and my mom, due to some unforeseen situations that she had to go through, me and my younger siblings were removed from her care, and we had to go through being wards of the court and wards of the state in the state of Illinois. And from there, growing up in foster care and group home and emergency shelters, a lot of people gravitated to me, and I saw the good in that. And I always was curious about why people wanted to help someone that wasn't their child or a relative. And so it stuck to me, and I just took hold of it, and I wanted to do the same thing, because had not been for some of those people and those individuals who helped me, high school teachers, counselors, grade school, neighborhood friends, a pastor, or just neighbors, had it not been for some of them, I don't know what would have happened to my brother, my sisters, and myself. And so I'm very thankful, and nothing but gratitude and appreciation to those people. And I wanted to do something similar and pay it forward and give back.
Wow. So you just unpacked a lot right there. Can I pause and dig a little deeper into that
Yes,
right
ma'am.
there? Okay. So you were removed from your mom and you were placed into foster care. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, how old were you? Because you said like people helped you out through grade school.
Hmm.
So I'm assuming that you were pretty young. So can you dig a little deeper into that for us?
Yes. So all of these things started occurring when I was in about seventh grade. Uh, and so going back and forth to different emergency shelters and group homes, she would always go to court and get us back from time to time. But it got to the point where in my freshman year of high school, we were officially like removed from her care. And so staying in emergency shelters, and then I later went to a foster home, and I still keep in touch with the foster homes, the parent, the people who have helped me along the way. Still mother figures to me, still like my extended brothers and sisters, as well. But I end up leaving their home too and going into a group home. From the group home, which is a unique story, in Illinois, I was in the Department of Child and Family Services, a ward of the court, ward of the state. I'm sorry, ward of the state, and what happened was I went into a program after high school called Hull House, which is HULL Association. They no longer exist, but they were a nonprofit that was geared towards helping young men and young ladies who didn't have an outlet after they were aged out of the system. They helped us either with our own apartments, and you either had to be working or going to school. For me, I was doing both. I was enrolled in Northeastern Illinois University, and so I was doing, and I had my own apartment. They paid my rent. No, it would have been to age 21 and 24 if I was still in school. My parents who legally adopted me is a unique way because I was 20 years old and I was always on the fence. Didn't really they were like they came in the fold as like godparents. I appreciated them as godparents, and they actually had got legal custody of my younger brother at the time. And a day before my 21st birthday, um, uh, that's when you age out of the system in Illinois at 21. The day before my 21st birthday, I decided that as a gift, because they don't have any biological kids of their own, as a gift because they had done so much and they were my parents. They wanted to be my parents. We went to court and they legally adopted me when I was 20 years of age. And the next day I was 21 and I was out of the system, but I had parents and they made sure that I was in school, college, had the things that I needed. And even at 21, I was just happy and ecstatic that I got to be a kid again. Because so many years of my younger life, I had to be an adult for my brother and my sisters. And so I still got a chance to just live as a kid and uh, enjoy that aspect of, mom and dad, the feeling of that, because I didn't have that for so long.
And thank you for sharing that because I was just about to ask you that because you literally just said what I was about to say. How could you say you didn't have that feeling of being able to really be a child because I'm assuming that you were the oldest and you were having to
Yes, I'm
look
the oldest.
after your brother and sister. And
Yes.
so mentally, oh my gosh, mentally, how did that affect you mentally having to go through all of that and kind of be that father figure, that adult figure, I should say, in their lives?
So in on the inside, I was torn. I was broken. On the outside, I couldn't allow myself to look weak or not know how to do something because I had four mouths and eight set of eyes, no, four set of eyes looking up to me, trying to figure out what we were going to do from on a day-to-day basis because we were still in the home. So there would be days where she wasn't home, where I would send my younger siblings to school and take care of the baby. And there were days where we didn't know what we would eat. And I had to figure it out. And uh, now I'm not ashamed of it. My life growing up and having to cut government cheese and eat some spam or bologna or even the neighbors who knew what was going on try to get us a meal. Those were the things that we had to do. Those were the sacrifices that I made, and by the grace of God, I still graduated high school on time, not having to ever go to summer school, not having to ever take extra classes per semester. I worked my butt off, and I still obtained my high school diploma and did what I was supposed to do. And I'm just thankful that all those things that I had, that was my strength. What people said I couldn't do and what I saw around me, the atmosphere and the environment that I was in, I knew at an early age that I didn't want this for my life, or anybody that I was going to be responsible for life. So it just fell into like divine intervention, kind of, so to speak, where I was just at 8th grade, I was coaching intramural basketball for 6th graders and 5th graders and 7th graders, and I was always looked at as a leader. And I don't even think I was ready at that time. It was just given to me because, of course, I'm not perfect now, and I know I wasn't perfect then. So, but it was something that I had to step up and do, or we was gonna, be without.
And I know that that had to take an emotional toll on you, because I know you said like mentally you were torn, and like on the inside, but on the outside you had to put on that strength because they were looking up to you. But emotionally, how did that impact your life then and as you were growing up?
Well, emotionally, I held a lot of stuff in. I couldn't release my feelings. I couldn't talk about, and I didn't have anybody to express that to. Let's start there. I didn't have anybody to really express that to, because although I had people that wanted to see me be successful and overcome, trust was still big on my plate. And in every kid's eyes, I would like to think that every child wants two things. That's mom and dad. That it doesn't matter if they're in an abandoned house or $1 million house. They want mom and dad. And when they don't get that, why am I to believe that you, a stranger, love me just as much as my parents do if my parents showed that they didn't love me? And so that was a hard thing to kind of embrace when somebody was actually saying, I care, when it was hard to like kind of grasp that, that phrase, I love you, I love you, I love you, I want to see you do well. Because there were times where I would be like, why are you always bothering me? Why you in my face? Like, you're not my mama, you're not my father, why? And it took me being I was in a group home one time, and it took a situation to happen when I was in this group home. Every Friday, the children who had the most points for the week will get to go on an activity. And I was always that kid because I was the only kid in the whole facility that they allowed to go to his own mainstream school. So every morning I would get up at like 5 in the morning. I would get tokens and passes, and I would catch the bus, catch the the subway to school, to be at school on time. And I would have every teacher sign uh, the attendance sheet to show that I was there. So this one particular time we went to the movies. The staff, he took us to the movies, and he left us in the movie theater. And when he left us in the movie theater, he went to another movie. We were only allowed to see PG-13 movies, as it is now. When you take no children, now you take them to PG-13 movies. And but when his movie was over first, and he came and he stood at the top of the theater, and we were at the bottom. But an usher came down to our area and was like, "Can you guys keep the noise down?" So he assumed it was us, and it really wasn't. So on our way back up to out the movie, once it was over, he made a comment. That's why your mamas don't want you now. And as smart as I was, and as intelligent as I was, I'm still a kid. So now I'm a hothead as well. I have a mouth now. I have a mouth then, and so I just went off. Like, you don't know nothing, anything about me. I'm not here because of something I did. I'm not, like, you're supposed to be a staff. You're supposed to be helping us. You're supposed to be doing all these different things. And we are going back and forth the whole van ride. And the other kids are like, Sid, cool out, Cedric, stop. It's cool. And I'm like, no, that's wrong. He's supposed to be helping us. And I stopped talking. He stopped talking. But and at that time, I don't know anything about triggers. I don't know anything about bait. I don't know anything about, I just know today's words, stand on business. I was standing on business back then, thinking I was checking him. And when we walked right into the facility, he said something else, and I started up again. And before I know it, he had took and slammed me to the ground in a restraint. Now, if people have never been in a group home or jail or prison or these facilities, that these homes where you have to hold somebody down, they don't know that once one staff grab you, then other staff have to come and grab you as well. And so I have like these 7 people on me. And I'm realizing that I'm not strong enough to get 7 people as much as I'm trying to. And I eventually calmed down. Now, the other staff, they couldn't believe it was me because I was the model person there, the model student, the model, and I explained to them what happened. And they pulled him into the office. I couldn't go in the office because of, he works there, so HIPAA, whatever the case may be, privacy, confidentiality, those things. So later that week, for the next 2 weeks, I didn't do anything with him. I couldn't stand him. I didn't like him. And one day he calls me on a Saturday. I'm walking down the hall to the activity room, and he says, "Towner." And I said, "Oh boy, what we finna do now?" And I said, and he called me again, and he said, "Can I talk to you for a second?" And I said, "I don't know if you noticed this, but I don't deal with you. I don't like you. I don't understand why you're calling me. He said, "I just want you to listen. I said, "After I listen to you, will this help me be able to go into the activity room?" He says, "Yeah." He said, "I just want to say something to you." I said, "Okay." He says, "You remind me of somebody." I said, "Excuse me?" He says, "You reminds me of my daughter." I said, "So I'm a girl?" He says, "There you go, not listening." So I said, "Cedric, be quiet." He said, "I apologize for what happened a few weeks ago, but what I wanted to point out to you is that you have so much potential to be great in this world. And the minute you move out of your own way and allow people to help you, you'll see how far you'll be able to go." Now, still being a kid, I said to him, this was my comeback. I remember, I said, "So you could have told me that 2 weeks ago before you threw me on the ground." But to this day, I still remember, get out of your own way and allow someone else to help you, because everybody is not put here to hurt you. And that's one of the messages that I give to my young men and my young ladies, because they deal with so many emotional, situations, so many situations that break them up and tear them apart, and they don't have any corner to run to or anybody to run to. And I just say, give it to me. I want you to be a kid. I want you to be normal. I want you to experience what it is to be happy. Now, your life is different from mine. We may not, but that doesn't mean that whatever road you on, we won't have the same ending. Your beginning is not your end, And so I don't remember his name, but I remember that message, just get out of your own way. And it's okay to let people help you sometimes. And that's one of my mottos, that I go by, allow people in. If you're a good person, you can read the room, like you said, read energy, so somebody's genuine or not, And but at the same time, you have to be able to keep a smile on your face and move forward in life, because it's about either you want to be successful or you don't. And just being transparent, we know that there are people who want to do well, and there are people who have, for whatever reason it may be, thrown in the towel and said, it is what it is. I just refuse not to be one of those people, because I have, again, so many people looking up to me and relying on me and counting on me, and I can't let them down. But I learned how to love myself too, so I can't let myself down.
Right. And as I'm listening to you, so I'm a teacher and I teach 7th grade and I teach social and emotional learning. And with what everything you're saying, I'm over here thinking of all these students that the same type of triggers, the same type of situation. And I'm like, that emotional part where they don't have anyone to express it to, and where they
Yeah,
keep things inside. And you mentioned that trust aspect, and how, if you're saying, if my mom and dad didn't love me like that, why am I gonna trust that you gonna love me like that? Like, that is so true. And emotionally, that does impact a lot. And I'm just gonna say a lot of our youth, and just from youth to adulthood, if they don't ever deal with that trauma, like you said, that you said, give it
Yeah.
to you so that you can handle it so they can be kids. So, with all of that, from your mental, emotional, socially, it sounds like you still were socially able to, be around people and deal and things like that. But did being in the foster care or being in the home or growing up like that, did that affect you socially at all?
No, because I was adamant on not letting my what was going on in my life affect who I was. I was the man. I couldn't let nobody see me, like weak. I just didn't. I felt like if people looked at me as some type of foster kid, or it was going to be like a poor him, and I didn't want that. So I did whatever I could do to stand out. The attention. I wanted the attention. Like, whether it was sports, whether I played basketball, I ran track, I played softball, I even did some volleyball. I played the alto saxophone. I I got in trouble too. I wasn't just this perfect kid. So you pay attention to Cedric. I was little Sid in the neighborhood. There go Sid, and people just gravitated to me, and that's how I wanted to be perceived. I wanted to be that person that you could come to for an answer or some advice. And that helped me socially, and it helped me what I thought. Let me say that. I thought it helped me escape what I was dealing with, but it really didn't. It was just a scapegoat that I
Mm,
used to cover up, because going back to piggybacking to what I said earlier, I didn't have who I felt like I needed to talk to. And in all fairness, even then, the person that I needed to talk to or wanted to talk to get that off my chest never showed up. And that was my mother.
mm,
So that was something to this day that I don't even think she still understands. That's something to this day that I don't think a lot of people understand, no matter our degrees, our masters, our doctrines, that you can have all the therapeutic words in the world to and the cleanest office and the nicest couch, and you can bring in all the snacks, but there's only a few people that you have to allow that person to be able to share that, yes, I received the help, but it won't be effective until I say what I really want to say, until
mm,
I get off what I really want to get off to the person I need to get it off to. I can walk through the rest of this world being a great person according to what you want me to do, because I have a bright future, or you want me to have a bright future, or I should look forward. But trauma is trauma, and trauma is real. And doesn't and you can't get rid of that overnight. And you can't get rid of that because somebody has promised you that you'll be better off in their house versus
mm.
what you were going through. Yes, I was enjoying sleeping safe at night. I was enjoying, you know, all those things, but it was still trauma, because you're still linked to that situation. You're
Mhm.
still linked to all those different things that occurred in your life. And some people will still relate you to that. Even
Mhm.
as I'm 51 years old, even now, people will still want to talk about something that happened in the past. And as much as I want to let it go, it brings up stuff, and it still triggers something where I'm defensive, because
Mm.
that person doesn't understand. So you can move forward and say, I'm tired of dealing with that person, and I can close the door on them. But the story is still the story. The
Right.
testimony is still the testimony.
So can I ask you that question?
Mhm.
Have you had a chance to really express to your mom how you felt?
Somewhat. She's
Yeah.
yes, well, and so
Not to get too deep. I know
no,
I'm
no, no, no,
prying
no.
a
I'm
little
just
bit. I'm
trying,
just
because and I don't want our listeners to say, wait a minute, he was doing good, and then so I don't. I've recently legally, she gave birth to me. Legally, my mom is who adopted me, if that's understandable.
That is completely
And that's
understandable.
without being disrespectful to the person who gave birth to me, because I'm totally cognitive of the fact that she didn't have to give birth to me. I understand that. But legally, she gave birth to me, and that's where I want to keep it at now. You gave birth to me. I can't, I'm at a place now in my life where uh, I'm no longer fixing what I didn't break.
Whew, that's good. Because a lot of people are trying to fix things in their life that they did not break,
Yeah,
and they just happen to be in that situation. Oh,
right.
that's good. I'm gonna use that one. Okay.
Yes, no problem.
So, thank you for answering that. I know you're like, wait a minute, that ain't part of the script.
No, 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 no.
You want to make
In
sure you
order for
answer.
me to like, so I just recently said this on one of my posts. Uh, if you don't heal from what hurt you, eventually you'll start bleeding on people who didn't cut you.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
So,
Yes.
so you have to at some point in time start letting those wounds heal
Hmm.
and figure out how you, the person, can move forward. And when these topics and these situations or conversations come up, you should be able to handle them like the way we're handling it now. I can talk about it and move forward, and I should be able to talk about it on any podcast, on any stage that I'm on, and share that and not let it trigger something where I'm
Hmm.
upset, where it
Right.
bothers me. Now, I know this is for a fact, and I say this, and I've said this all the time. Everybody on this earth, we all have two things in common, no matter what. Everybody have these two things in common. We have a beginning date and we have an end date. What we do in between time is up to you. I choose to have peace. I choose to be a provider for my family. I choose to be able to help other people. And I choose not to let anybody's negativity and what they do with their life affect me any longer.
Right. And that's awesome. And I'm just wondering though, like, how did you, because your status of life was at one point, and now your status of life is at a completely different point. Like, how did you build that resilience during that time that you were going through that in order for you to change your status of life?
It was a combination of several things. Mainly, what went through as a kid, but also growing up in the neighborhoods that I grew up in, and just I had buddies that were my age, but young teenagers, but they were doing what they were doing, and they had the cars, and they had the nice girls and the nice clothes and shoes. So I was always that guy that I wanted that. I wanted to have that, but I also knew that I didn't want to get it that way.
Hmm.
And so when I went through the system, someone said to me, it was a counselor, a provider said, we can help you go to school. We can get you in college. I thought college was free. It's no crazy me, right? I'm thinking I go to a public school, it's free. So they said, Cedric, you going to college? Yeah. I get ready to start getting, they like 50,000, 60,000, 70,000. What? For what? Where the free schools at? Where the free school? But I just I wanted to do something different. I remember my first real job as a teenager. Well, my second job, I delivered newspapers in I was born in St. Louis, Missouri. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois. And my first job was at Little Caesars Pizza. And I was in Park Ridge, Illinois, in Chicago, well, a suburb of Illinois. And this one particular time, the staff didn't drive me to work because we could walk to work sometime. I was on the co-ed unit. I had graduated it from the group home to the co-ed side where it was independent living. They started teaching you life skills and independence and being independent. And I came across this house, and every day I stopped at this house and I just looked at it, and it had the window have you ever been in a neighborhood, I'm sure, where you can see a window, but you actually can see inside their home, where they walking up the stairs, where they walking across. And I said to myself, one day I'm gonna have a house like that. And I was just like, man, I love that window. And I would stop with my little Caesar's apron on and my, flowery pants and and polo shirt, and you people would be walking, and they was no look, but they would never say, "Can I help you?" No, so they probably didn't mind me stopping at the house and just glazing at that house, because they probably seen me do it so many times. They like, he's probably just in awe of the house, or just. And so, and fast forwarding many years later, uh my wife and I, we had a house built in Ingalls, Indiana, and we had got our second home. And one day I'm coming home from the office, because that's where I have two office locations in Indiana. And as I'm pulling into the driveway and I'm getting ready to turn into the garage, and this is literally like 7 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, as I'm pulling into the driveway, and I look up, and there's that window. And I instantly go back to being a kid, and I cry, because I remember saying, I'm gonna have a window like that. And literally you can see my children, them walking upstairs and walking across the stairway and the banister. And so I say all that to say that it may seem like sometimes you lose sight of your dreams, but God knows. And God had already had it designed for me and for us, and for me to be who I'm trying to be today and who I'm becoming. And that's just my motivation to continue to go, because it didn't come on my time. It came at the right time.
Right.
So I'm
Facts.
thankful for that. Yeah.
That is awesome. Like that dream, that vision manifested. It may not have manifested when you thought it was gonna come, but it came when
But
it
if I
was.
had got it back then, if I had received it back then,
You would know how to handle it.
I would not have known how to handle it.
And so, what advice would you give to someone who maybe, and I'm just going to go back through all the things that you kind of said, to someone who may be going in foster care, or someone who may not be feeling, you know, loved, or someone going through trust, all those things, all those types of situations that you've had to deal with in life. What advice would you give someone that might be going through a similar situation?
My advice would be to, first and foremost, learn how to love yourself. Don't quit. Don't give up. Just because it's difficult, every day that God allows us to wake up, we have a chance to be different than the day before. And because we have that opportunity, we still have hope. There's still hope that you will be okay and everything will work out. But just don't give up. Don't quit, and allow people to help you. And first and foremost, going back to what I said to one of my other stories, uh, learn how to get out of your own way. Don't be too prideful. Don't be stubborn. Just get out your way. Because believe it or not, I've found so much in so many people that love you and care for you that were not, quote unquote, blood related. And there are a lot of people out here that will love to embrace you, because, as I learned when I went to the Les Brown Academy, there's greatness in you, and somebody saw that in you. And that's what the guy said to me. He said, I see something in you that you don't see in yourself right now. That's what he actually said. I see something in you that you don't see in yourself right now. And when you move out your own way, watch how great you'll become. That's exactly what he said. And so I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. And that's what I want my message to be, to other people. Like, somebody sees something in you, And you'll be able to read the room and see that there are genuine people out here, and that maybe if it's just one, but that one person may be that person that you need to help you get over that hump that you are struggling with. We all need somebody. So
Yes, get out of your own way. Most definitely. So, if someone wanted to connect with you further than now, because I know, like you said earlier, a lot of the programs that you have and products that you may have to offer, how can our listeners connect with you later?
so my email is Cedric Towner at worldwideydp.org. And my motivational speaking email address is at contact cedricthemotivator.com. I also have a website, worldwideydp.org and cedricthemotivator.com. You can follow me on Instagram, through those names, and Facebook and TikTok. I'll post, and I have a YouTube page that I'm working on. So I'll be, posting, positive quotes and different stories and things that'll be able to help somebody else get through. And that's the goal for me, to be able to help. And I'm also working on expansion. I feel like if they can put a McDonald's in every state, I can take a youth agency every state. So right now I'm in Georgia, working on Georgia, and I'm actually working on something in Houston as well. Houston. So
Yay, Houston. Yeah,
yeah.
gotta represent. That's why I'm in Houston.
Okay.
Okay, that is awesome. And also, listeners, make sure you listen all the way to the end, watch all the way to the end, because I'll have all of his information, the social media information, website, all those things will be available on the outro. So make sure you go all the way to the end so you can see, and make sure you get that information down so we can support this young man who is trying to make it, not trying, but who is making a difference in the world. And I like that. If there's a McDonald's in every state, you can have one of your agencies in every state. Yes, that is
Yes.
awesome. We got to spread that love. So, audience out there that's listening, we're going to spread that love also, and help Cedric the Motivator get onto more stages in more states. So, again, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for your time. Thank you for your message. Thank you for your stories. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. And
Yes, man. Thank you for
before we
having me.
wrap, I know before we wrap up, and I know you gave some great nuggets already. Your last words of encouragement for the audience.
I would say baby steps are huge steps to somebody who's never taken steps before. Never be afraid to take that first step.
Ooh, that's awesome. Baby steps are huge steps to someone who's never taken steps before. That's so true. And I'm going to end on that. So, closing out, again, thank you, Cedric the Motivator. I am Tracey D. Armstrong, and I like to leave you with my quote. Well, it's not my quote, a quote that I like to use every episode. Remember, guys, if you want to be sad, keep thinking about the past. If you want to be anxious and worried, think about the future. But if you want to be happy, focus on the present day and be grateful for what you have. This is Tracey D. Armstrong with What's Your Mess? Have a good one, y'all.